Tower of Time is a special game for me. I covered it a long time ago when it was released, and the reason why it's a special one is because it was one of the first indie games I've ever played, and one of the first games I got a review key for. Before Tower of Time, I was very skeptical about indies because AAAs were not that good anymore, while AAs were where the most quality went in, but a lot of AAs that I've played at that time had lots of technical issues. Naturally, skepticism was at a very high level when it came to indies at that time. Thanks goes to Tower of Time that dispelled every doubt about indies. So why am I covering it again, you forgetful bastards? Good people from Event Horizon are very happy with the content created when the game was released, which I would assume helped them at least a bit to spread the word about the game, so they approached me a few days ago to do promotional video for Tower of Time to remind people about this great indie title. Happy to oblige. Also, they have another game called Dark Envoy to check out with similar style that is also on the channel. There are new major things added to Tower of Time that need to be mentioned. Game is playable on Steam Deck now, gamepad support is available, ultra-wide monitor support is here too. Still working on their game, eh? Commendable. In case you know nothing about Tower of Time, let me explain what this game is and why it's so good. Don't like coming back to games I've played unless it's something like Football Manager and Total War Warhammer that can be played forever. But as soon as I started Tower of Time, it hooked me again, easily in the first 2 hours. Main reason is combat, the biggest selling point of this game. It's so addicting and for all the good reasons. Combat is real time with pause that slows time, but developers have also included the full pause option. Tower of Time combat blends turn-based elements and more dynamic real-time combat in a perfect way. Each battle is a new combat encounter. There's enough enemy diversity to make every encounter stand on its own, but that's not the most interesting part. Next to many enemy types, there are also different combat encounter goals. From the top of my head, I can think of a few setups from the first 5 or 6 hours. First is typical kill all enemies encountered goal. Enemies bum rush the team and that's it. Then there is the portal encounter. Couple portals are placed on the map that are spawning enemies. Each portal spawns different enemy types. One can spawn many regular enemies, while another one can spawn elite types but much slower. So the player has to decide how to approach the situation. Usually the best strategy is to kill off portals one by one. Another encounter type is when 1 or 2 or maybe even more party members are trapped in cages at the start of the fight. This happens when enemies ambush the party on the dungeon map. Then the player has to deal with the incoming threats and cages that need to be destroyed. There are also encounters with towers. Basically, towers are placed that restrict the team's options. Player has to decide if they are going to accept reduced movement range due to the tower's presence or destroy the tower while the enemies are attacking. Last one are the boss encounters. Self-explanatory. Bosses have stages where fighting becomes more intense as the boss's health drops. Maybe there are more encounter types. Even if there aren't, this is more than enough with the enemy diversity and the variety of skills the enemy possess. Enemies frequently use skills to make encounters more difficult, but not in a cheap way. They clearly operate under the same rules as the player, which makes the difficulty design quite good overall. Yeah, some encounter types are going to be tougher than the others, but it also depends on the player's understanding of the game and group setup, due to quite a few possible solutions with different strengths and weaknesses. In every combat encounter, awareness and planning on the go is key. Game offers a nice amount of crowd control options like sealing off small paths with stone wall, placing traps that slow down enemies, immobilizing spells, pull skills and whatnot. Tower of Time is anything but just auto-attacking everything, at least on hard difficulties. I recommend playing the game at least on hard because upon utilizing the character leveling and itemization system to its fullest, even hard is not that difficult. I love how dynamic the combat is. Almost every half a second some kind of player input is required, either to move characters out of the danger zone, to change the focus of attack, to trigger skills that can change the course of the fight, to simply run away, to kite in order to buy time. This is a hands-on RPG. It's stressful, challenging, dynamic, and incredibly satisfying. Most encounters, if playing on appropriate difficulty, can create problems where there are going to be crap moments. Barely winning is common in this game. If a game where barely winning is a regular occurrence while managing to hold players' attention and interest, despite how stressful some of the encounters are, it means the difficulty design is at a high level. Balancing is okay, but the difficulty design is one of the best aspects of Tower of Time. It gets progressively more difficult with more difficult encounter setups, so whenever the player gets comfortable by being continuously successful, the game is going to up the ante. So if a player starts to become overconfident by not caring about character leveling and modifying items, it can all quickly turn around and bite the player in the ass. That's how RPGs are supposed to be on hard difficulties. Important part of every RPG is the character progression system and how it ties to the combat system. Tower of Time offers a deep enough system to play around with. One of the more important aspects is the skill system, where the player chooses skill upgrades that can be reset for free whenever, leading to easy respec and tactical shift whenever needed in case of being stuck on a particular encounter. Skill upgrades branch out into two versions, with the general upgrade in the middle. This usually determines the main role of the character in terms of if they are more support-oriented or self-oriented, damage versus protection, group buffer, or self-benefits. Interesting idea is when upgrading the skill through centerline, meaning the general skill upgrade, that mana cost increases. For characters that have high mana pool, this isn't an issue, but for characters that have low mana pool, it could be a problem and severely hurt their skill rotation and skill availability. So for some characters it becomes a tactical option if it's worth upgrading the skill or not at a specific point in time. With the full party, quite a few things can be accomplished with a nice skill variety in function and in number. Team composition is important, and having options to experiment in many ways is welcomed, if not necessary. Tower of Time does a good job here. There is also a strong emphasis on itemization. Drops are frequent and most items can be customized to a degree through enchanting and effect upgrading. We can also craft things from scratch on the fly. User-friendly system that produces meaningful results quickly. Perfect. It's not all combat all the time though. Gameplay also consists of exploring the tower. Each floor tells a story with new entities introduced, lore pieces discovered, and unraveling of the story bit by bit. Story goes like this. World is on its last legs. No sun means no food next to other obstacles. Protagonist as a kid found this tower by accident and after becoming an adult decided to explore it properly in case something can be found that can save the world. The interesting thing is that the tower is buried upside down, which is strange on its own, but that's just the tip of the iceberg. Time works differently in the tower. Also, soil is fertile, so food can be grown. Strange mythological creatures are found throughout the tower. Technological and magical advancements. Whole game is about exploring the tower floor by floor and uncovering its secrets. Lore is scattered everywhere with insights about the history of the land and vastly different time periods when 5 races ruled the world. It was the time of progress, until strange magic appeared that took over people. They stopped working on advancements due to this new magic making people omnipotent. It came at a cost, of course, and here we are. History has been lost, the world is barren, and there is no hope. Then the protagonist appears and tells us a story of what he had to do to save the world. Some call him a hero, some call him a destroyer. What the protagonist wants is to tell exactly what happened to understand how this all came to be before passing the judgment. Obviously, tough choices had to be made along the way. So Tower of Time tells an interesting story that can be interpreted in a couple of ways, which is interesting in itself considering that the world was in dire need of saving and we already know that the main guy did his thing and saved the world. Or did he? On top of all that, the world has a rich history of its own that has been long lost and forgotten, but it's being uncovered as the team progresses through the tower. Along the way, some critical choices are going to have to be made that affect the followers in a way that alignment towards the protagonist shifts. Positive alignment grants combat bonuses like increased armor, increased health and mana regen. Negative leads to negative combat effects. Usually after making any choice, alignment shifts for one or two characters into positive, while for others it goes into negative. Nice that such RPG story elements have been added. It gives us a chance to get a deeper insight into the party members and what drives them because they don't get along. I can tell you that much. Music is another aspect that serves as a constant bleak reminder of the dire situation. It's a melancholic, ambiental music theme that fits the world and the story. Fantastic music style to listen to while finding long-time dead skeletons and their stories, learning about the world's history, discovering important things about the tower. Music encompasses the whole adventure nicely. I'm glad Event Horizon contacted me about making another Tower of Time video. Truly hope it helps in boosting the sales because the game and the developers deserve it. This promotion reminded me how good this game is and why I liked it so much a long time ago. Up until August 18th, Tower of Time can be bought on Steam and GOG for only $3 or $4 or euros. That's nothing for such a game. So why are you still watching this video? Go, buy it, play it, enjoy. Thanks for watching.